Hey, welcome everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining me from. Thank y'all again for coming along to the live stream. The topic today is the worst thing to bring to the Philippines is a drug habit. And of course, before we get started, I always like to welcome any new guests to the live stream. This is your first time. All my old heads, that's 53 Shades Darker. Anybody's going to be joining me on replay. And of course, the NTZ, I see Michael Beach of Life. I know Jacob Tanje is going to be on here. It's a pretty interesting subject today, but I want to talk about a few other things before we get started. What's up, Mystic Jam? There's Jacob Tanje. I did the video yesterday about, what happened to Deshaun Dixon. And I was simply making my viewers and subscribers aware of the story. I'm not trying to solve it. I'm not speculating what happened. We just want to know, hey, did he die? Was it an accident? Because the story had slipped under the radar. I didn't catch it until yesterday, which was 4 months later, almost to the day. And I was hoping that the reach of my channel would somehow find somebody out there who knows this young man or knows his family and can just give us, an update or whatever it is. But, it's crazy. Sometimes I'm thinking the internet was a mistake because we've just unleashed a bunch of foolishness, a bunch of ignorance, and a bunch of evil out into the world, man. Because, I don't care if I say the sky is blue, you're going to get a pushback. Some guys say, oh, don't call him a passport, bro. Why did you call him that? And I'm like, that's not an insult. But we'll find anything to argue about over there, man. But my condolences again to his family. And I just think it's important as foreigners when we come over here and, whether to live or to vacation, that we're kept abreast of stories like that. And then some man, Brian or whatever his name, he wants to make an argument. I'm not going to argue with you guys anymore. Says if he wasn't black, I wouldn't have made the story. Well, if you'd have listened to the rest of the video, sir, you would have saw that those last two stories, one was a German and one was a Belgian. And I don't know about too many black Belgians. Okay, but come on, guys, let's grow up a little bit and be a little bit more mature. On a positive note, I want to say thank you, man, really, from the bottom of my heart, the response that we've gotten for Stephen and Marjorie's GoFundMe. It's been way beyond anything I ever imagined. His story came across my mind because of all the negativity surrounding this Passport Bro movement. And then if you go back a couple of my live streams, I actually brought his story up. But then I said, well, maybe I should talk about it. And I just, asked for some help. I had no idea that it would resonate the way it has with so many people. I mean, my goal was just to double his, whatever it was on there. It was a very low amount, and I couldn't understand why. It's a well put together GoFundMe page, which I didn't even know. I went into it blind. It was only after I did the video and I went on there to check to see the amount that I pushed play. And they put a well together GoFundMe page. It's not just words, it kind of chronicles their life a little bit up until the time she had her stroke. And if we would have just doubled what he had, I would have been fine. But we've just about tripled it already. I think people are just amazing, man. I have the best viewers and subscribers on YouTube, and I'll argue with anybody about that. But I just want to thank y'all really. And Marjorie and Stephen, they're going to come on my next live stream Tuesday, because they want to thank you themselves. I think it resonated because I would want my wife or my husband to stay by my side too, especially if I'm incapacitated in a hospital bed and I can't make decisions for myself. I've got somebody here that's got my back, see? And, that story of one guy, he'll be on here today, I'm pretty sure of it. He wanted to make it all about him. He said, I told you it was true love over there. Well, you don't know it's true love until you know. And many of us, we will never experience what they experience. We'll never come face to face with a situation or circumstance that's going to test your love. Oh, she cheated or something like that. That's nothing, man. Okay, I'm talking about that's really going to test your commitment. What's up, Lawrence? Hey, Endai. Louise, what's up? If you come and let me know, brother, I can get the guest house ready, but I think you said you got to have your hot water. I haven't got that hot water in there yet. Let me see. What else? Oh, yeah, something else I wanted to bring up. It's a big public outcry over here, mainly in the Senate, about that movie Plane. That film Plane, anybody seen that yet? And a couple of senators are asking for that movie to be banned in the Philippines. They said because it paints a bad image of the country. It paints Holo Sulu as a lawless territory run by militants. And they're wanting to ban that movie. Now, if you don't think the Philippines is its own sovereign nation and has its own laws, its own rules, its own ways, then this is a perfect example. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is a fictional movie, okay? And they taking offense to it with the image and everything like that. And it's not for us to come over here and say whatever they think is crazy or outdated or whatever. This is their country. They make the rules, they make the laws. But that's just one example. I'm telling you, when you come over here, man, you're not at home. And a lot of what goes on over here is not going to make any sense to you. It never will. And it's not supposed to. What's up, King Arthur? He says, March 31st, I'm off the hamster wheel. Man, you need to buy yourself a cake, brother. I mean it. Hey, W Secrets to Success, thank you for that super chat. He says, Cal, did you or anyone else find out the cause of death for the brother in Cebu? We haven't. I was sending that out there in hopes that just as we found Gail's father, that maybe somebody knows this young man. He's from Chicago. A lot of my viewers and subscribers are from Chicago. A lot of expats from Chicago are here. And we just wanted to know yay or nay, because it seems like the police treated it as an open and shut case right the minute they got to the residence. And I just found that strange. No autopsy, no nothing. You just put that out there like that. So, and come on, guys, don't jump to any conclusions. I'm all in the comments. You done jump to a conclusion. We're not saying that. I'm making you aware of this story. I think it's a very important story. One that was going to slip by us. I ran up on it. It was a humble, man. I wasn't even looking for that. I was looking for something else and ran into it. Hey, Michael, Yusuf says, it's just a movie. What's the big deal? See, that's what you say. That's what I'm talking about. That's the attitude we bring over here. We don't understand this culture, man. We know so very little about the Philippines. We think we know, but we don't. And see, if you was to say that to Senator Robin Padilla or Senator Ronald De La Rosa, man, you'd find yourself in hot water. He said movies are scripted all the time. It doesn't make them a reality. Well, remember, it's not going to make sense to you over here. And it never will. What's up, Stephen Francis? The Sea Goat says, if your plane crashes in Baltimore, you'd have the same issue. Yeah, but I don't think the United States would be banning the movie. What's up, El Hover 29? Said, I got a break from the Singapore hamster wheel. Quintessential One. Dana Milton, what's up? Hey, I'm doing a whole lot better, Tim, believe it or not. He said, glad I care less for drugs. Let me look and see if it's something else I want to talk about before we get in here. The peso keeps going up. It's 55.53, which is a great rate. I mean, it's unbelievable. But yeah, I want to say this before we get started on here. Philippine drug laws are some of the harshest in the world. Okay? If you want to get high that bad, either stay home or go somewhere where the going is a whole lot smoother. Let me give you an example. Okay, this is just, they've got what's called the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. And it defines weed, marijuana, as a dangerous drug and imposes a penalty of life imprisonment to death and a fine of 500,000 to 10 million pesos for those caught in possession of 10 grams or more of hashish and 500 grams or more of weed. That's, the death penalty now for weed. Okay, less than 300 grams, 12 years and 1 day to 20 years, $300,000 to $400,000 fine. Okay, that's anything less than 300 grams. So what's an ounce? A gram? 28 grams. So a couple of joints could get you 12 years in 1 day to 20 years in prison. Is that worth it, guys? I'm just asking you. Here's another one before I get to what y'all saying, because this stuff, it boggles my mind coming from the United States. Where we've got all these, marijuana's basically legal now. Using or failing a drug test, 6 months rehab in a government center. The second offense is 6 years and 1 day to 12 years and a 50,000 to 200,000 peso fine. If caught importing weed, bringing it into the country and I didn't give a weight limit, life imprisonment to death. CBD is illegal over here, guys, okay? I just want to talk about it, but then, the other side, I found some interesting stuff. It's like weed over here is like an open secret. And a lot of tribal societies in the Philippines use marijuana as they have for hundreds of years. They don't, they use it as a substitute for, tobacco and alcohol. And they're mostly, even though the drug war over here is raging, they're mostly looking for, cocaine, heroin, the big boys, methamphetamine. But I'm just telling you, don't use drugs at all over here, man. And don't come around me with it. Because if we're at the same place and they come and bust you, do you really think they're going to believe me when I tell them, hey, I had no idea what this guy had on him? No, you can't find gummy bears. It's illegal. CBD is illegal, and all the other products associated with that is illegal. I don't know if y'all remember this story. I'm going to tell y'all a story, and this can happen to you. Back in 2010, I remember it because I had already started coming over here, but a U.S. naval officer jumped to his death in the Manila airport when he was arrested for what they thought was cocaine. Okay, he argued with him vigorously, like, "Hey, it's a setup. That's not mine," and everything like that. And he threw the pack at the security guards, and he eventually jumped off the third or fourth story and killed himself. Come to find out, it wasn't drugs at all, and it may have been a setup. So, be careful. They stopped all that. They cracked down on that, putting bullets in the suitcases and all that stuff when you go to the airport in Manila. But that was an interesting story simply because drugs surrounds the story. He said, "Hey, man," he argued with, "This isn't mine. It's a setup. Somebody's trying to, frame me," which is known to happen here, man. That bullet in the suitcase thing, and then they take you in the back, and then, they extort you, basically, what they do. Hey, pardon my French, says, question is, So God Southern lady safe? Yeah, I've been there one time, and that's when I was in Ormond. It's not too far from Ormond. But it's safe for me, man. Okay? I always say that because, pardon my French, I don't know you, honestly. I mean, if you're over here, if you mind your own business, keep a fairly low profile, as we as foreigners can, excuse me, you should be okay. The connector said movies affect a lot of people's brains. Yeah, absolutely, it does. If you don't think media and social media and all the other types of media affect us, yeah, look at the rise of these guys. They become demagogues, man. Look at Andrew Tate. I always bring him up, really, because I admire him. I admire people like him, not his views, but extraordinary people like him. That's the only books I would read. As a matter of fact, let me show you the book I'm reading now. And it's a great big book. I don't know who helped him write this, Michael J. Fox. This is a funny book. It's a great book, guys. I bought it for $2.50 when I was in Dumagetti at a used bookstore waiting on my immigration extension. But, social media and all that has made these guys just demagogues. And, of course, if you see that reel over and over and over in your head, hey, thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. Hey, Jeff Payton, it does affect you. But, the Philippines is sovereign, their own sovereign country, and they can make up the rules any way they want to. And I think this is one of the things that causes us a lot of problems. We come over here and think we're above the law. Well, I got news for you. My next video is about that. You're going to be shocked to see what happens when you come over here thinking you're above the law. Okay. Jeff Payton said, greetings, Cal and company. Good topic regarding the death of the passport bro. Security is and should be a concern for all expats who live in the PH. Most of us have what is number one in demand, our money. You're right about that. But remember, we don't want to speculate. We don't want to jump to any conclusions. We're just saying that it was an open and shut case, guys. It has to be more to it than that. He said, China will shoot you. Hello from Tyler, Texas. Michael's experience said that can affect the Philippines travel. Philippines is just getting over the COVID-19 shutdown. I can see the Philippines' frustration with this movie playing. This is the movie with Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, I mean, I understand it, but it's just a movie. I mean, okay, in our minds, it's just a movie. But remember, we don't know the fight that they're waging, that we don't understand their reasons why. I disrespect it, though. Yeah, I would have to go to, this is what I would say. I don't think it's not worth one day in jail over here, guys. to think you bigger than the law and they, oh, well, I can bring a couple of joints. What's the big deal about that? Well, it's a big deal. Anything under 300, you going to jail. Hey, John, he said he just got his new passport. He said, wow, they really don't want to let what happens to the USA happen to their country. Yeah, they've learned a lot, man. We're Sodom and Gomorrah. If anybody don't know yet, everything goes in the United States, man. We're freedom junkies over there. So whatever we want to do, we're on freedom overload over there. I'm sure you're going to be able to marry yourself pretty soon over there too. Remember I said you're going to be able to marry your dogs? I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to marry yourself over there. Just anything that comes to mind, we're going to make it legal over there. I don't care what it is. Imagine you in jail right now serving a life sentence for weed. Now it's legal. Hey, Sam Champion says, right, Cal. If a foreigner gets caught with any type of drugs or use of, their lives will be lost in prison. Just don't do it in the fields. If a person feel they need a weapon, don't bring it to the Philippines yet. Yeah, I just don't understand, man. You gotta be, something's loose up here in your brain. If you would even risk using drugs over here, selling, buying, bringing it into the country, you need to see a psychiatrist today. It's not worth it, man. This isn't America. Well, they're writing tickets now, whatever it is. Well, he says, why do I see women with vape pens if CBD and THC is illegal? Well, I don't know if this what they're smoking is weed though in those vape pens. But remember, they said it's an open secret. Okay, but you're not going to be walking around the street smoking weed in the Philippines. I don't know what they got in there, but I don't think it's what you think it is. Maybe in America. I don't think they're smoking that over here like that. Geechee Land says, I agree with the government movie ban because it matters, because the world starts to believe what they see on the screen, Cal. For example, look at how the USA portrayed blacks in movies back in the day. Yeah, but what about free speech if it's not hate speech? And that's what one of the other senators said, we respect free speech until it becomes, not free speech. Yeah, he says, yeah, vape is a replacement for cigarettes. Yeah, I don't see anybody, because where we go to the, right around the corner from where we go to the grocery store, there's a place that sells these vape pens and different things like that. They're not selling no CBD and all that. Maybe in America, Amsterdam and all those places. I doubt, whatever that is, if just about everything's illegal over here. If it gets you high, it's illegal. Bath salt is probably illegal. You could probably bring that over here because they're going to think, well, hell, that's what you're putting in your bath. They're not going to think your crazy ass is smoking it. For sure. Okay. What's up, Fresh Aloha? He said, aloha, brother. Great content. Love your show. Thank you. They don't think, we everything that can go, we're on full blast over there. And it makes me laugh, man, when I look at it now. I'm like, wow, I mean, anything goes in America over there now. Anything goes over there, man. I don't know if that's good or not. And don't hit me with that anti-American stuff. I'm just giving you facts. Tell me where I'm lying. Everything goes over there. They've made these, he's talking about NBA All-Stars now. They made these NBA stars, like we're supposed to listen to these dummies. A lot of them they barely finished high school, but because they're NBA stars, now we're supposed to listen to their advice and everything like that. And here they are, pawns in a system. It's like a battery being put into a toy or something. Hey, Cedric Giles says, hey, what up, big bro? NTZ is NBA All-Star Saturday night in the States. The skills challenge, three-point shootout, slam dunk contest all tonight. I won't be watching that. It's supposed to be entertainment, but we've taken it to a whole other level. Okay. Hey, Clarence Wilkerson, he said, what's good, brother Cal? Awesome topic, brother. A lot of us do bring our habits from the States to here. Drinking, smoking, sometimes drugs and poor money management. Peace. That is a fact. I'm just saying, we've become programmed with this weed and, oh, ain't that bad, I mean, you can bring a few joints over here, they're not going to be, and maybe they'll, write me a ticket, a fine or something like that. No, guys, don't do it. It's not worth it. Hey, Gorilla Wayne says, Magandangu Maga. That means good morning. Great content. Mercy, grace, and blessings. Hey, Clarence, thanks for that super sticker. He said, welcome to the chat, Cedric Giles. Kamal said circulating the tape was framed, which I always believed. Well, we're just talking about, excuse me, the influence of the media, and he says, hey, is what he's saying, is that free speech? Everybody tries to come down on him. I think it is. I don't think it's hate speech. You can always spin that, what he's saying. But when you go against the status quo, which is what he's doing, you're going to catch hell. It's the same anywhere, man. Anywhere on the planet, you go against the status quo that's set up in your society, you're going to catch it. They're going to get rid of you because they don't want you spreading that out here. They don't want you deprogramming people. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what the hell got in my throat. Hey, Clint Dow. He said, thanks for your channel, Cal. You made my visit there so smooth. Man, I really appreciate it, man. I'm glad you had a great time. I've been getting a lot of good stories here lately. One guy's here already. He said, once I get settled down, I get there. He said, you can tell my story. He said, I don't have a problem with it. I think that's important that we do that. Because now all of a sudden, we as men, and a lot of black men, we're turning on the passport bro movement. Don't call me a passport bro. Well, why not, man? It's not an insult, guys. We're making it out to be something negative when it's not. If you ask 10 people what passport bro means, you're going to get 10 different answers. I was listening, I started to listen to him for maybe 1 second. Jason Whitlock, he's talking about passport bros. And you know what it is to him? It's black men traveling around the world looking for women and sex. That's what a passport bro is to him. I think it's broader than that. But I could be wrong. But if you have 10 people, they're going to give you 10 different reasons. Geechee Dan says, Michael J. Fox was a very good actor. He suffered from Parkinson's disease, which stopped his career. Yeah, and that's what he's talking about. It's great. It was beautifully written, and he got a lot of Hollywood stories and different things in it. I would suggest you read that. And if you're over in the Philippines and you like to read like me, if you want to read some of these books as well, I can only read a book one time. I can only watch a movie one time, really. I mean, when we were little, we watched The Wizard of Oz over and over, but that was when you were little. I mean, I can't do it now. The connector says we have good brain training that we can get from Cal, and then we have a lot of toxic programming that comes from Hollywood a lot of the times. I think it's free speech when you make a movie like that. I don't think that's hate speech, but, I'm not from the Philippines, so I don't know how they perceived it. They perceive it differently than me. Hey, what's up, TJ Johnson? He said, just showed up. How's everyone going? Everyone doing? Oh, man, we're doing fine. We're just talking about the worst thing you can bring to the Philippines is a drug habit. They don't play with drugs over here. They have some of the harshest drug penalties on the planet. It's not worth it. And if you want to do all that stuff, you grown, you know, but just don't do it around me. Don't come around me, not with one grain, not with one seed on you. Don't you know? You go look at this, the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Listen to this. You can't even have seeds, man. You going to jail. So don't even bring the damn seeds around me. But we think we bigger than the rules. Oh, I can go down here in the squatters area and get me an old $10 piece of meth, and spin around for one day. I'm tired. I need something to keep me up. Yeah, and the same people that sell it to you gonna be the ones that gonna call the police on you. He said medical cocaine is next. Well, a lot of those drugs, if you're in the hospital, try using morphine on the street and see what that gets you, but they'll give it to you in the hospital. Michael's experience says you're absolutely correct, Uncle Cal. Everything goes in the United States. These athletes are circus clowns and everyone around are spectators. Truly sad we have to learn from the past or we never will. I just don't understand it. They got guys, now that they want to put out there for you to follow. And I'm like, well, I don't get it, man. Instead of, we have enough people over there who are uniquely qualified to put out a certain message, but they want Chris Brown to do it, or they want somebody else to do it. Clint Dow said it felt good to not be able to find any weed. The people are lucky to have a clean mind society. I've never felt better in my life, man. May the 13th will be 25 years for me. And that's just for me, man. It doesn't make me a saint. I'm not on some crusade, but I just want to put the message out there to my viewers and subscribers. When you come over here, don't bring a drug habit with you, man. It's one of the worst things you want to bring over here. They're going to get you. And it's not going to, who wants to be over here nodding and speeding and all of that? It don't make sense. Hey, Ray Smith says, I think USA's the biggest problem is idol worship. We put too much weight on what celebrities do. Yeah, that's all YouTube is. If you want to be honest with you, all the shorts are dominated by celebrities, and they want you to sit there and listen to these people, and they put too much weight on what they're saying, what they're doing. I don't give a damn who such and such was with and all of that stuff. I'm sorry, man, but I'm not worried about that. Nicholas Ziegler says, hey, Cal, how's it going? Please advise for my first trip to the Philippines. Do you have any recommendations for three-star hotels close to Ayala Mall, cheaper than Quest if possible? Well, I was surprised that the Dubai hotel was only something like 3,500. They have rooms for 3,500 pesos. That's certainly a 3-star, 3.5 or 4-star hotel. BAI. And then I've never been to the Bayfront. Now, what type of budget are you talking about, Nicholas? Now, remember, if you're going to Cebu, man, you can probably get a real nice condominium for about $40 a night. I mean, really nice, right across from Ayala Mall. I'm certain you can, if it's available, depending on when you're coming, because one of my subscribers has 2 units in Solanea, and they're back on Airbnb. I think the last I checked, it was $38 per night. It's well worth it, but you may like the hotel. TJ Johnson says, spoken like a man who is wholly retired and doesn't own a LinkedIn or career's ambitions. I wouldn't want that label either, especially if what I'm doing predates the phrase by a decade plus. What are you talking about? Passport bro? Is that what you're saying? I mean, it's not really a label. I mean, I thought it was a movement, but we're making it out to be a label. And we're, before it even gets started, it just seems like they've already spent it. It's the cat's out of the bag now. It's a negative label. Why are you calling him a passport bro? I'm like, when did that become an insult? Cedric Giles says, you're right, Cal. Now you can demand to be referred to as any gender or no gender, regardless of your natural birth gender. Potential liability if one's chosen self-identity is not acknowledged. I found something interesting on YouTube yesterday. I don't know how I found it, because I just looked, you put the videos on a continuous. I'm reading my book, and next thing you know, something came on about old European women going over to Gambia and dating, and hooking up with these young African men. And man, I sat up and watched it, and it mimics 100% what goes on over here, guys, except they flipped the script. It's the women doing it. I mean, these old women, they go over there, they're losing their life savings, they're marrying guys, they're getting scammed. Everything that happens to us over here is happening in Gambia. It's a little bit different in Dominican Republic, but Gambia, I mean, these are old women, man. They're 60 plus, 70 plus. One black guy on there said his lover was 85. And, the guy says, hey, well, what do you do? Do you make love to? He said, yeah, but of course not every day, but we make love. And, she gave him 60,000 euros. And I mean, one guy, they built his house, and it amazed me, because I try to tell you guys all the time, they get a pass. I mean, this is real big business over there. I mean, it's so big that the men over there, they sat outside the popular night spots where the European women come, and they just stand there waiting to be chosen. But it's just like over here. So I guess instead of a dating site, they're just out there on the beach in the open with it. And you see these old women, big, fat, sloppy, just wrinkly, the whole gamut. Just like we be over here, they're over there with that. But why isn't that headline news, I'm saying? Hey, Robert Dame says, Sir Calvin, that's why they ask you if you're the one who packed your bag. Secure them. You are ultimately responsible. Yeah, guys, be careful, man. Buy locks. If you don't, for years, I never put locks on my luggage. It was only till after I got married did my Filipino wife said, hey, we need to put locks on there. I mean, I never even thought to put locks on my luggage. I tell you how, naive, and, I always look for the good in people. Clarence Wilkinson said, facts, the so-called passport bros movement, in my view, are upper mobile men who travel to other countries looking for a traditional wife and to explore the culture, in my view, peace. Yeah, but for some reason, we've made it an insult. Nobody wants to be connected to it. And I'm like, well, why? Is it something I'm missing? What happened? but you know, he said some guys groups are making the movement look bad. Though I'm a supporter, the passport bros have leeches that want to control sections of the movement for only profit and ego. They work in groups. Well, I think it's like, okay, you know, they say you're an alcoholic. You're a member of Alcoholics Anonymous as long as you say you are. You know, nobody can tell you whether or not you're a passport bro or not, or you belong to it. There's no dues or fees or anything like that associated with it. This is what's got me confused. You know, I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's not a passport. He's got his passport. He's a brother. He's traveling around. I thought that's what a passport bro is. But, you know, if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. And remember the video I did when I said we've got so much to learn from women when it comes to traveling? See, they've got to clearly define what's the word? A purpose, a mission, you know, but the passport bros, we're just flying around the world, beating our chest, say, hey, look at me, I got a passport. Look at this woman I got. But the women, man, I mean, it's so much more in depth. It's so much more organized. And they wield some power. That's right. That's right. And it amazed me. And then the next video was about European women over in Dominican Republic. They talked to one 33-year-old lawyer, successful lawyer in Italy. She fell madly in love with an 18-year-old Dominican Republic guy. She's trying to give him a visa to get back home. And I'm like, why haven't I ever heard of this stuff? I mean, I see it over here, but I mean, that should be front line. I mean, that should be headline news, but they get a pass about it. I mean, you know, and the videos I was seeing was predominantly white women, but black women are doing it too. They've always been doing it, but they're under the radar. We can't get that. Tom Cook says, I just booked my flight to Gambia. No hotel, just sit outside all night waiting for an 85-year-old. But yeah, it's true, man. This guy said, yeah, she gave me 60,000 euro. Well, see, Geechee Line, it's not just women, man. It's a men making these disparaging comments about the passport bro movement. I'm like, well, damn, man, what are you talking about? You know, why do you call every black man that travels overseas a passport bro? I mean, well, why not? I don't get it, man. Yeah, guys, leave it drugs at home. He said, I consider myself personally an expat or a world citizen. I think it's okay, guys. I don't think we need to be arguing about that. Hey, Tony. Fariello says, hello, Cal, from a fellow Kentuckian. When I was young, I always wondered if old guys find older women attractive. Now that I'm older, I know the answer. Yeah. And it's something innate in us. I don't feel guilty about it. Men and women age differently. We have something called testosterone that they don't have. And it makes us look younger for longer periods of time. And a woman, you know, after a certain, I don't see many 70-year-old women having babies. But I do see 70-year-old men over here having babies. 68, 59. Okay, we're the same, but we're different. Hey, say Logano says, because they really think they're doing something, Alexia. What are you saying? I don't understand. Hey, Renee Ramirez says, these are masculine, man-hating times. If you're a simp, you're okay. Are you talking about the Andrew Tate thing or whatever it is. But I think you can be a masculine man without, you know, being so macho and just putting it out there on display. I think we all have our own ideas, about life and everything like that, and mores and values and everything like that. I mean, hey, Jack, he says, I keep saying if Western culture didn't have divorce and social programs for women, I believe their behavior toward men would be very different. Like the PI, no, what's he saying? For single mother support. No programs for single mother support. Well, I think you're exactly right. We had a gentleman on the panel one time. I'm thinking, I can't remember what his name was now. The Ingram uh, report. This guy, he said the same thing. He said, there's no threesome in the Philippines like it is in America. You got the woman, the man, and the government. But over here, it's just the woman and the man. Wait, don't see what Booby doing. Hey, Booby, stop. What are you doing? Don't do that. Quit screaming. Watch TV. No, it's you screaming. That's Booby screaming for some reason. I thought she was crying. But yeah, you're exactly right. So the man is still important over here. I mean, he's very important. Hey, Jonathan Robinson said, agreed. He said, a man can be masculine without being arrogant. Yeah, I know you can. But them guys, some of them guys, it's an act, it's entertainment. That's how they get all these viewers and subscribers and stuff. Don't you know you will get killed if you out here, if you're just a regular guy out here acting like Andrew Tate and some of those guys out there, man. Don't you know a woman will shoot you and kill you probably for doing that? But you can do it on the slide, with your ideals and stuff like that. You can draw your line in the sand and all that. Yeah, Booby's crazy, man. She just in there screaming. I thought something was going on. It's nothing. She just in there screaming. He says, I'm sure many out there know who Thomas Sewell is. There's nothing wrong for a man to have children at old age as long as he's able to take care of the child when he's gone. Yeah, I believe that too. But I'm just saying that men and women, we age differently. And, as women get older, men don't find them as attractive. So they'll say, okay, they'll go overseas and take advantage basically of the financial problems of men in Gambia and get the attention that they need. It's the same thing we do over here, but it's not in the headlines. It's the first, like I said, I'm naive, even though I know it's happening more and more over here. I see it. I myself was giving women a pass for a long time. I'm thinking, well, she's over here. She's on a mission with her religion. Or she's going to school here. Or something. She works for an environmental agency over here. But no, they were over here dating Filipino men. But it mirrors exactly what's going on here. 100%. Stephen Francis says, I just left there and they swabbed my luggage. What do you mean? Ray Smith says, when a man comes home from work, he has to cook his own dinner and clean house because the women don't, is what makes a man search for a good old-fashioned woman. So why are the women then, Ray, why are they searching for these younger men overseas? What are we doing wrong? Is it just the woman's fault? If it was, then why is she running off too? Dana Millicent said Calvin older expats are also attracted to young Filipinos because they are usually connected to social media. Therefore, they have something to talk about after sex. Not a whole lot. Okay, a woman over here is constantly on her phone. Yeah, ain't gonna talk about too much. Okay, other than that 20 question thing, but you're not gonna talk about anything deep. He says, Jack says that Ray Smith exactly correct. Yeah, but then why are the women then going overseas, Jack? Could it be our society? Maybe it's not just, us pointing the finger at the woman, because she's pointing it at us and saying, you're inadequate now. All you want is sex. I want something outside of the bedroom and, cooking and cleaning. And there's nothing wrong with that for women who choose that role. But I think if a woman chooses a role outside of that, then you got to roll with it. Excuse me. TJ said, yeah, she was on a mission. All right. Yeah, that's what I mean. I gave him a pass, but over there in Gambia, they're not even hiding it. They're not hiding it at all. And they talk to these women over there and, they saying, yeah, we come over here. They're good lovers. And, we've got, they said they got husbands and boyfriends at home. But with a lot of them, after they have, after they come, and that's what the lady said, not me. She said, it's, that's it. They said, even the men over here, when they come, they still think about the woman. John Gomez says, who's controlling the narrative? The government, the media? I'm going to have to say that, they're working in cahoots, John. You can't, get away with certain things, unless it's government approved. They always got those guys on Capitol Hill grilling them. How many times have you saw Zuckerberg, rubbing shoulders with these people because they got money? When you're talking about the government, you ain't talking about these sleazy ass politicians. Surely. They're in bed together. TJ says a mission to find some trusting dick outside of their league. Yeah, that's all they're doing. Hey, Jack says, hey, Sunshine Show. He said, keep up with this new content line, brother. Most of us here are much more interested in what you are doing now. Much love, brother. Keep being true to yourself. Yeah, man, I got tired of that other thing, man. I did enough of it. And it's enough videos out there with all that stuff that I don't think I need to add any more to it. I can't add to it anyway. I mean, the Filipinos gone wild and all that stuff, man. You're going to see that when you get here anyway. So, I don't need to, put my 2 cents in it no more. It's just so much more to talk about over here. Nelson Cummings says, well, Thomas Sowell, he talks about culture, not race. Exactly why I want to move to the Philippines. Yeah. See, it's about culture. That's what I just said. It's not the women. We can't say it's just the women when they're turning around doing the same thing we're doing. Hell, they're getting on planes, flying now. Been doing it a long time, man. Robert Dameson said, Cal, give us another one of your secrets. That's why I'm here, brother. A chapter in the book on Calvin's secrets. Well, just because I'm older than a woman over here, don't mean that I can't learn anything. It doesn't mean that what she's saying doesn't have any value. Because, that can happen. We think these young women don't know anything. They haven't been around long enough. I've learned a lot, man. And that's probably why somebody told me that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. But I know that with this, they're trying to ban this movie, Plane, because they said it portrays the Philippines in a bad light. And a lot of people say, oh, what's the big deal? Well, it's the Philippines. They can do whatever they want to do. I know that a lot of the people I met over here, they're a lot more sensitive than most. Let me give you an example today, just off the top of my head, because remember, Dana says, oh, you can talk to these women over here about more than, sex or whatever. And, that's a debate that we need to have, because I said, hey, if anything ever happened to our relationship and you sold this house, would you give me half the money? This is what I asked Marilyn. Well, you got some kind of plan going on? And, she done stormed out of the house. She's angry now because it's something simple as that. And I'm saying, what's going on with you? I mean, she's angry, because she's sensitive. She thinks that, oh, what, you making a plan to run? No, I'm just asking you. If we split up and you sold this house, would you give me half the money? And yeah, she's angry about that. And that's something you're going to learn over here, man. It's a lot of cultural differences. It takes years, if ever, for you to break through that. It's a learning curve, man. Steep learning curve. Every single day you're going to deal with something. And I'm like, well, hell, we've been together almost 4 years. If you don't trust me by now, I mean, I had to remind her. I said, look, I'm 59 years old. I don't need a plan. If I wanted to leave, right, pack my clothes and leave right now, I can do that. I mean, I'm just asking you a question. I said, I'm trying to put something together for a video. But it's different over here, man. We're not at home. AC King says, if you aren't the knuckle dragging caveman type and choose to use intelligence and common decency when dealing with women, some men will call you a simp. Yeah, I don't understand these definitions we're throwing out there now, because everything that I've read, most people exhibit all the characteristics of these labels. There is no straight alpha male, beta, a simp, a real man. Because these guys who call us simps, they don't want you to cry. They don't want you to hurt. And, if you ever have your heart broken, you better not admit it. And all that old stupid stuff. That's why we're dying at 55. Pressure bursts pipes. See? I'm not, if something's going on with me, I'm going to cry. I'm going to tell you about it. Hey, Neil Stewart, thanks for that super chat. He said, Calvin, the issue is men at large are not looking for westernized women. And I guess the women aren't looking for westernized men. But I'm going to say this. There's a lot of men who seem to be okay with the women over in the West, because everybody's not leaving. Most of my friends aren't even thinking about leaving. I promise you, man, the same guy who told me, he said, hey, Cal, he said, when he said, the Passport Bros is coming for you, and he says, you started that back in 2009. He said, you tried to warn us about these sisters, but we wasn't listening. It's the same guy who said, I love it over here. Because I was like, yeah, I had to get out. I had to do something different. I had to get out of that rat race. He says, I love the rat race. I love the hamster wheel. Meaning he loves Big Shirley and all the problems and everything that goes on over there. That's all he's ever known. He hasn't known anything else. And his daughters are grown now. So, yeah, he's satisfied with it, with them, because before I left, he had some cringy ass relationships. When my Filipino wife was over there, he told me, I don't want a submissive woman who's daddy easy and all this and all that, right? Meanwhile, these cringy ass women, he was, these old women, 50, 55, with all these extra baggage in their backs, butts, breasts, stomachs. See, he likes that kind of stuff. I don't. The realist says when expats down in the Philippines, what usually happens with the body? Well, if the family can't afford to repatriate the body, they usually get it cremated. And they'll keep it in that urn until somebody gets it, or maybe give it to the girlfriend. Or if you're a veteran, I don't know if they'll put you in that cemetery in Manila or not. I think that's a special cemetery up there. Help me, guys, with that. But for the most part, they cremate you. He says, yeah, they're very sensitive here, bro. And men who have the means do have options here because you can still support yourself. Yeah, if you got the means, and then I just don't like the attitude of the society, So, of course, the women I'm not going to deal with either. Neil Stewart, thanks for that super chat. Said, Calvin, most women want Western men. They can provide at large. So you mean, yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. I said most Western men want a Western woman, really, if they can, like Clarence said, if they're able to, if they're financially able. I've given up on it. Honestly, international traveler passport bro said, "What's up, bro, Cal? Late getting into the live stream. Can you catch me up on the conversation?" Well, the topic is the worst thing you can bring to the Philippines is a drug habit. But of course, this is your live stream, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Here lately, we've been talking about what is it to mean? What does passport bro mean? And then these double standards where they're letting women, it's okay for them to travel overseas to get have relationships with these disadvantaged men in these uh, third world countries, but if a man does it, it's sex tourism. When they do it, it's called love. And I believe that may have been what the video was named, but I couldn't remember. But that's basically what it was saying. When they come overseas, it's for love. But when we come over sex tourism, John Gomez says he is good to have around as long as a member of my hangover crew. He'll take care of the big Shirleys for us. Well, he's doing his job. He's a cleanup guy. I got tired of being a cleanup man. I don't want nobody else's junk. And what I don't know won't hurt me. So if I come over here and I meet a woman, I'm not going to ask too many questions because something might come out of there that I don't like. But what I don't know won't hurt me. But when you start dating your co-worker's wife or somebody you went to school with wife, because that's all it is. We're not going too far out of that, 6 degrees of separation. The woman you're dating, man, y'all know the same people. I don't like that anymore, man, because then the rumors are going to start and, the man may still like her, so he's going to throw it out there. Oh, yeah, whenever you kissing her, you might as well be blowing my balls and all that stuff. I just don't want to hear all that. I don't want that. Renee Jimenez says a simp gives himself and his resources to women, and they don't reciprocate with femininity. So I guess what he's trying to say, nurturing and love. Well, hell, I wouldn't call him a simp. I'd call him a sucker. I mean, he's getting something. Obviously, he's not going to keep giving it back. The Beach of Life says, if you have an honorable discharge, you qualify for the National Cemetery Burial. In Manila, thanks for that information, Michael. He says they're mad at passport bros. They call them broke. How can you be broke but able to travel? You see how what they say does not make sense. Yeah, they're going to spin it any way that they want. And these people are saying that I'm insulting people when I call them a passport bro. I'm calling bullshit on that. I'm calling bullshit on that, man, because there's no dyed in the wool definition for passport bro. If I ask 10 of y'all what it means, you're going to give me 10 different answers. And see, this is what I'm saying. I'm not in the United States. So I'm not, the people I'm talking to right now, they're interested in coming over here. But anyway, he says, is it okay for your Filipino to bring a drug habit to the USA? I don't know. That's not my experience. Yeah, clean up in aisle 5. Yeah, I don't want to be a cleanup man anymore because the mess is a whole lot more over there than it is here. Believe it or not, man. A lot of times over here, you still got a lot of those traditional values. So when you meet a woman, she's probably only had that one man, more than likely. Now, I'm not painting all the relationships over here with one brush. I'm just saying more than likely. But how many relationships have you had over there? And then what about the women? How many have they had? So how y'all bringing all that baggage to the relationship, and you think you're not going to have problems? Somebody explain that one to me, because I don't get that. That's probably why half my relationships didn't work. And then I don't want to, like I said, what I don't know won't hurt me. Jonathan says, passport bros taught me that black men can meet foreign women that love them. For decades, we were misled and told non-American won't love and appreciate us. Hey, Kevin, he said, hello, Cal, keep living, buddy. I think that's only part of it, is coming looking for relationships, because, okay, you get the woman, now you go back. Now what? You still in that same old toxic environment, and pretty soon it's going to set her. You on fire already. You come over here, she douses out the fire, then you both go back to America and both are set on fire again. It's probably not going to be the same. AC King says some Western men have become accustomed to and addicted to the stress and drama brought on by Western women. I call it the Real Housewives of effect. But does the social media and television and movies and all that have a lot to do with the attitude? Are there still good women over there, though? Obviously it is. We've just reached the end of our road where we're not even going to take a chance. I'm not even going to take a chance. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm going the other direction. Vince Lawson says, for all the veterans coming to the Philippines for a long stay or to live, they should check in with the Veteran Cemetery in Manila because it's free. Might have to prepay for the travel. That's a great idea. And also, if you're a veteran, go ahead and sign up for the VA online first. And also the foreign medical program. You need to do that too. You can't just walk in over there in Manila. Raised in the Village says, what's up, Cal? What Bracken saying what up from West Side Baldwin Village, Crenshaw, California. What's up, man? Yeah, you out there with where Easy E them used to be, and DJ Quick and all them guys. Okay, Calvin Williams, he says, from the USMC website, for death in the Philippines, approximate cost burial or cremation in Manila about 2,500. Send remains back to the U.S. 8,000. Shipment of ashes, Manila to the U.S. 3,000. Well, at cremation and burial, it's going to cost you a whole lot less than that. Here, I know that John's girlfriend paid 20,000 to the funeral home for them to cremate him. That's about $500. Well, less than 500. It's about $400. A little bit less than 400 now. Nelson Cummings says, I don't even care if people call me a simp or knuckle dragging Neanderthal. I have to care what I have to, that's messed up. My ethics and morals speak for themselves. Who cares what people think? I'm with you there. Yeah, it is subjective, man. And I think we've gotten way too serious about it. And when it doesn't really have to mean a whole lot, man. Get the lights up, guys. CJ Almighty says, do you think a lot of foreigners in the Philippines have a major drug problem? And you think weed smoking is considered a drug? Well, it is over here. I don't know. Most of the guys that I meet over here, they're older guys. And we've been there and done that. And, alcohol is a drug now. Don't get me wrong, but it's the legal drug here. Beer and alcohol is a legal drug here. Nicotine's a drug. It's legal here. So, yeah, they do have a major drug problem over here, but not with weed and not with illegal drugs. Of course, I consider it a drug. It's going to get you high. It's going to affect your thinking and your decision making and everything. So, yeah, it's a drug. I mean, marijuana is a drug. What is it inside the marijuana? My man that went blank from smoking all that marijuana. What they call that in the marijuana to get you high? Yeah, it has a negative connotation because we put it on there. We've let the media put it out there. How can you call it a negative? How can it be negative when I've only seen one bad story about it, really? One, and then, well, I didn't read into too much about the story in Brazil. But the one over here, that's the only thing other than listening to these old made up videos that you see on YouTube, man, these are actors, I believe. Where are you getting these people to come on there and talk about that stuff? And when you look at them, you're like, lady, do you really think that somebody's even going to want you? Somebody even cares what you think? Tony says, hey, how rough is that flight from the U.S.? Is it worth going first class or business class? It really is, man. If you can afford it. It's pretty tough. And then I always get an aisle seat, Tony, because for some reason when I'm up there, I guess it's the pressure. I have to use the bathroom a lot. And, I can get up and walk. It's not too bad, but I made the trip home twice in business class. It's like night and day. It don't even compare. If you can afford that business class seat, I would get it. The trip goes a whole lot faster. It's just like you being on a whole other plane, really. I mean, they were every 5 minutes, you want something to drink, you want something to eat, newspaper, bigger movie, I can lay down in my bed. I mean, everything. There was no set schedule to eat. The food was better. I had real cutlery. It's just a whole different comfort level. Cal Winston, Cal is a veteran. Do you think you eventually apply for the special SRV? But only after. See, what you guys got to realize, you can't just do that. with that $1,500 deposit, $1,400 application fee. You have to have a pension, guys, okay? So let's put that out there so that y'all won't be confused. You only going to qualify for that with honorable discharge and, you doing all the paperwork, the $1,500 deposit, the $1,400 application fee, and a pension. It has to be a pension. It cannot be disability because that's not permanent. The doctor at any time can say, hey, Calvin, you're okay now. You can go back to work, and they cancel that disability. Philippines don't take that. And one of my buddies up in Cavite, Darren Cooper, that's what happened to him. He's got a lifetime pension, disability pension. But the Philippines wouldn't take it. So instead of him paying $1,500, he had to pay $20,000. Yeah, it's a long trip, but I'm gonna tell you something. It makes it a whole lot better, Sam, when you're in that business class. But yeah, it's a long way, and that's why people always say, "Oh, do you think that they're gonna come over here and destroy the good thing y'all that's going on in the Philippines?" No, it's too far. This isn't the DR. This isn't Mexico, and this isn't Jamaica and all that. It's too far, man. A DJ said one of my buddies started selling drugs in the Philippines. He was busted and spent 4 years in a prison near Manila. He's from the UK. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, it's not like you're making big bucks over here like you would in America. I mean, who are you selling it to? And that's what I'm saying. Sam W says modern individuals love moving them goalposts. Whatever we do is deemed problematic because they hate to see us happy. That's right. That's exactly all they're doing. That's all they're doing. So now all of a sudden, it's an insult to call you a passport bro. I don't know. It's crazy. Daryl says, I'll look into that as a vet. Yeah, just make sure you got the pension, guys. That's all. It's a great visa. It's something that I would do if I had a pension, but I don't have a pension. Clarence said, yeah, you need to work on yourself before you come here. In my view, we all come here to get away from the rat race and the Western culture like many of us have done. Yeah, and that's all a part of getting in shape to come here, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, tying up all your loose ends. One of the hardest things I had when I first used to come over here, and I would always have to go home sooner than I wanted to because it was always something I had to do. When I got my divorce, I had to go home, man. And, I'm like, damn, man, I ain't ready to go home, but I ain't have a choice. So try to tie up all that loose ends at home. Try to have as much money free and clear of your pension or your passive income as possible. Do you have $1,500 a month free and clear, or is that your pension? And then $500 is on credit cards, child support, and all that. See, that's where we mess up. A budget, okay, is one thing, and your pension or your passive income is another. They could be the same, but then they could be different. How much do you really have to spend over here every month? And that's the question you probably need to ask yourself. Nelson says, I plan on being with my female partner for the rest of my life, but that's not reality. I planned on being with my wife. She's still my best friend, even though she's crazy. We just can't live together. I get it. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's hard living with another human being, man. Under the best circumstances, it's hard. And that's why, you make a vow because it's difficult. But the the peso is 55.53, which is good. It's creeping back up there. But I want to read something for anybody who just got here, some of the penalties for just weed, because that's all I really wanted to talk about, because I don't think anybody's stupid enough to bring some meth over here or some cocaine or heroin, but who knows? But I know that since, marijuana is basically legal in America, we get them bad habits and we think, well, hell, I got on a plane with it last time, I can get on a plane with it this time. But the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, it defines weed as a dangerous drug and imposes a penalty of life imprisonment to death, guys, okay, for weed, and a fine of 500,000 to 10 million pesos for those caught in possession of 10 grams or more of hashish, 500 grams or more of weed, which, hell, you wouldn't even be considered a middleman in America with what, 15 ounces of weed? So what's that, about 4/4 pounds? That's about a pound of weed. And they're going to give you the death penalty over a life in prison for a pound of weed. Is it worth it? I say no. You come over here and fail a drug test, or they catch you using, it's 6 months in a government rehab. Second offense, 6 years and 1 day to 12 years in jail for using. So, don't come over and say, oh, well, they too harsh. Well, we that's what this live stream is about. Okay. The Philippine drug laws are some of the harshest in the world, period. So if you want to take that chance and come over here, go ahead. What's up, Q-Dubs, 76? What's up, Cal? Checking in from the DMV on my way to the hamster wheel. Glad I can still listen in on the live stream while driving. Good topic. Yeah, you'll be here next month. Yeah, Sammy, this is a great point. He said you also have the option of burial at sea. He says I support it 100%. He says it's a drug because people will abuse it. Yeah, THC, guys. I'm sorry. My man is bad, man. Y'all don't realize, man, I started smoking weed at 12, and I didn't stop until I was 35. It was a combination of everything. The only thing I didn't do was meth. That's because no one ever offered it to me. Or heroin, because no one ever offered it to me. And, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it, man. It's true, though. But if somebody would have said, hey, man, smoke this, because I remember one time was a guy from D.C., and that's what we called him, D.C. We were on the USS John F. Kennedy, and somehow, some way, somebody had mailed him some Lovely. They called it Lovely back in the day. Love Boat or whatever. And somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Real thin. I mean, not too much bigger than a toothpick. So he says, hey, man, come on, let's smoke this. And I'm looking at it like, man, I took a big hit off of it. He said, hold on, man, slow down. That's not regular weed. And I'm just looking at it like, this is nothing. Man, the next thing you know, man, I'm in my bed, man. I'm hyped up. I've never been that high before or since. I never smoked that again. It was the worst high I've ever had. I ended up just laying in my bed for about 8 to 12 hours. I was scared to get up out of my bed, and come to find out, I think it was dipped in PCP or whatever it was. It was pretty bad. He said a passport brother is the new soul brother. Yeah. He said, I guess we know who puffs. Yeah, everybody knows that. But he said, yeah. Randall, Frank, he said, women travel to Gambia for swinging chocolate. I just didn't know it was on that level. I knew it happened, because everybody's, we're from the same planet. We're not from outer space, but I didn't know it was on that level. It mimicked. Go and look at it on YouTube and tell me it isn't exactly what goes on over here, except the roles have been reversed. It's the women on the hunt. It's the women, getting their groove on with these younger men, paying them, whining them and dining them, doing the same thing we do over here for that love, for that attention that they're not getting at home. He said, what's in weed? Satan's will. Don't touch the stuff. Wow. Hey, Deanna Darden, he says, what's up, Cal? AC King says, I would set up an account with a good lawyer over there to have my body cremated and sent back to the U.S. for burial and take the burden off of everybody in the event of my demise. Well, you don't even need a lawyer. Just tell your girlfriend. She's going to do it. She's going to get you cremated, because every day you stay in that freezer, the bill goes up. See, we're not even talking about, more than likely, you're going to die in the hospital. You're not going to die at home. So we need to be worried about that hospital bill, the final hospital bill. We should have learned a lot from John's situation, guys. More than likely, you're going to die in the hospital over here. Okay? And then you got that bill. Then, okay, now, once you pay that bill, what are we going to do? Are we going to bury you? Are we going to cremate you? Are you going to get buried here? Are we going to send you back at home? It's a few things you got to think about. Yeah, see, I was on Delta, trader engineer. He says, I like the first class Delta suite. I was on the 747, though. I was upstairs. He said, TJ says, only one drug you need to get hooked on in the Philippines, and that's Jesus. Or the tuna, either one. Yeah, drugs is a habit, man. Addict, do no good. Well, I think we're all addicts, addicted to something, if we're honest. But are you going to be honest? Something that we really like to do. But I don't believe in sex addiction. I don't believe in that. Now, I don't know if that's all you're doing, because it's almost impossible to do that all the time. Clarence says the best thing we can do over here is clean, live, and eat healthy and work out at least 4 times a week. Drink plenty of water, don't smoke or drink, just live clean, which is a great plan for living, but, it's just not, we got to get to that point. And as long as you're working toward that, making baby steps toward that, you're going to be okay. I think, another bad habit is our diet when we come over here. The one good thing about the Philippines, a lot of them will comfort foods that we're used to eating that have no nutritional value. You're not going to get them over here. So you're going to lose weight, just by default. And if you can somehow, okay, like, Social Security retirement, yeah, that's the same thing, but that's a pension though. Your Social Security is considered, I guess, a pension, but I mean disability. A lot of people get disability and they think that's permanent, but it's not. Okay, like, we found another great spot right across from McDonald's that sells delicious apples. Now, if I could keep a cold supply of those on hand, which is hard to do, because you might go over there and they're gone and they may not have them for another 3 or 4 days. Whenever I got a hankering for a chocolate candy bar or something, I could eat one of those and take the craving away. TJ Johnson says, I'm at my best international first class not to be confused with international business. It's always worth it. If I buy a business ticket, I'll make sure I'll be able to slide at least a wait list position. Yeah, yeah, you must be 50 years old also. Yeah. Now I forgot about that. Now they are trying to bring back that one SRV that I think it started out at 35 or something, but the guy said no. Yeah, yeah, Social Security or a pension. You know, some people have a pension before they reach Social Security, Frank. Okay? You can take those sunglasses off. There's guys who are retired before they receive their Social Security. Okay? Say, for instance, military pension. Okay, yeah, they're yeah. You can do one or the other. But you know, remember he said you have to be 50. You can't, you know, the only time you're gonna draw Social Security at 50 is if you're getting disability. And they won't accept that. Yeah, health is vital. Health is vital, and that's one thing you could start on before you get over here because you're not gonna all of a sudden change when you get here. But some people have. Sometimes you can find the love of your life, and you know she'll make you change. You know, Napoleon Hill said this a long time ago, and I believe it. He said, when you know when a man has the woman of his choosing, not of hers, the woman that you want, your ideal woman, that you intentionally went out there and said, "This is who I want." She checks all the boxes. When you have her by your side, man, you're swept on to success that you never even dreamed about. You know, success being, um, you know, whatever it is your definition of success is. But that happens to some guys. Another thing he said in Think and Grow Rich was, there's not one day that I don't read some parts of that. He says a man doesn't reach his peak until he's somewhere around 65 years old because now he's no longer, you know, thinking just only about sex and, you know, a lot of other petty things that hold us back in life. But yeah, he said definitely a very long flight. It is. But it's worth it, man. It's worth it. Well, Duterte's not even president anymore, but they kept that drug war intact. He said, do you get American baseball, football, and basketball? Absolutely, you do. If you have that joystick, and basketball, certainly. He said, what type of delay? Well, it's really not a delay. You get it live. Of course, you know, American basketball is big over here, but you have to get up early in the morning to watch those games. So if they come on at 8 at night, it will be 7 a.m. in the morning here. And they're live. But American baseball, American football, you have to have that fire stick, and you can get it live. He says, and be 50 years of age to qualify for that and have at least 1,000 in pension. So in my view, if you want it, it's a good option. Yeah. Now, some of those, they say you have to have at least $800 pension. No, I've never been fooled. He says, have you ever been fooled by a lady boy on the dating app? No. Guys, listen. They might can fool you with the picture. But once they get before that camera, man, there's no fooling, man. You can see the shape of a man's face. They're not going to fool you. Now, Thailand is different. They're taking those hormones, you know, for so many years, and they're actually having the operation. But the curves are too hard, you know. They're not natural like a woman's curve. They're too hard. It's like bam, bam, bam. You know, we saw, me and Marilyn, we stayed in Atchee Park at this condo, And I had coffee at McDonald's and we're standing there. And here comes a lady boy, which from here up, it looked like a woman. But when you looked at the body, you knew it was a man because the curves they cut too hard. It didn't flow like a normal woman's body, especially the hips. It was just too apparent that this was a man. And then the more I looked, you can't push you got to get up pretty early in the morning to fool me with that one. I'm sorry. The realist says it seems more and more jobs these days are phasing out the pension in place of 401. Yeah, that's been the case. And that's why, a lot of times, unless you're coming out of that military or you're fortunate enough to work for a job that still has a pension, that SRV is probably not going to be available to you till you start drawing your Social Security, which, believe it or not, excuse me, I'm taking the 62 route, and I'm not even going to argue with anybody about it. Barbara Calhoun said my brother was a heroin addict on methadone from the VA who said he would die without it. Married my niece in the Philippines, got off drugs and been married 8 years totally. Yeah. See, sometimes that can happen. Or, she may have motivated him and said, hey, I want to live now. I met this beautiful young lady. He says, I'm trying to figure out where to get a decent place. I just want to live near the light rail. Bella says, bringing drugs in the Philippines is like marrying the wrong Filipino. But hey, you never know if you don't try. Just don't get caught by Duterte's DDS. No, it's a whole lot worse. Don't bring drugs in here, man. Don't do it, man. And, I know some guys are probably watching and say, well, I beat the system, Cal. I was able to do it. Well, okay, you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned. I'm just saying that with the drug laws being what they are, it's not worth the risk. The risks are much, much too high. And then you may stay in jail waiting on trial for years and then go to trial and get 4 or 5 years. Much like that guy in Manila who was accused of rape by his neighbor. What really happened was he scolded her son. And he ended up spending 5 years in prison without ever going to court. He never went to court. But he had a good lawyer. They let him out. He had to pay the 5 years overstay, and he was able to get out of the country. Well, imagine he stayed in prison 5 years and never went to court on that charge. He said something about, he says, hell, if someone tried to mug you, they would likely just yell at you, hoping you would submit. And, it's funny you bring that up because there's a memo going around on Facebook in San Carlos that there's a group of, they call them hold-uppers. We call them robbers. And they gave they tell you to be leery of certain areas at certain times, where a lot of people aren't around. One lady's already been attacked. And, we even talked to the police and they said, yeah, but they're not from San Carlos City. It's 4 of them. I believe they caught one. And so, it just got me just all messed up, man. I'm like, damn, why don't they catch these guys? Because it's got me afraid to ride my bike in the morning. I walk, because I know what happens a lot of times over here, man. They'll shoot you. You'll give them the stuff and they'll still shoot you. Yeah, he said weed is okay in Thailand. Look how he spelled Thailand. David said, my wife and I generate over $6,000 per month in income. What kind of lifestyle can we live? Well, any way that you would want to live, really. you could live extravagantly over here with no question and have plenty of money left over, David. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, if you earn 3,800 US dollars per month in the Philippines, you're considered rich. $3,808 to be exact. So you're double that. He says, feels good to be a passport bro. I can't wait to get back to Cebu. PCP, yeah, it got me, man. I've never been able to, um, I've never, it was my first and only time I was able, and I ever used that. And it never wore off me, man, because I mean it took a long time to wear off because later on they convinced me to get out of the bed and we went out to the little nightclub. And I was looking at people. I'm in Virginia. I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. I said Norfolk. I can't remember. Norfolk or Norfolk. But anyway, I'm looking at people like I've been knowing them my whole life, man. These are strangers to me. So I never use it again. But yeah, they called it Love Boat. Yeah, lovely, man. It was crazy, man. Will Rose says, I sell sneakers over here. Some sneakers cost 2,000 pesos or more and 12% tax rate here. What's up, Pumpkin Joe Philippine Experience? Welcome to the live. He said, St. Carlos seemed like too slow and quiet of an area for stick-up guys. I walked the park there at night, but was always aware of my surroundings. Yeah, but, every now and then they'll come over here from Cebu or some other place because they know they try to catch you off guard. But see, they got a great police force over here. That's why I'm not too concerned. It's just I got to give them a few days to catch them. I don't want to be one of the victims before they get caught. But yeah, they'll eventually catch them because St. Carlos usually they got a 24-hour patrol. They'll get them. Clarence says you can live very, very comfortable with that amount. You absolutely can. Well, see, they're not going to test dirty, Robert. He says, what happens to the guys who go to Thailand and come back to the Philippines and test dirty in the Philippines? Well, you're only going to test dirty in the Philippines if you're working or you have some reason for them to give you a drug test. They're not just going to drug test everybody. Ken says, well, since you're talking about it, we're all legalizing weed all over the West. Europe, America's happening all over the states. What do you think the chances are they legalize marijuana there? Well, there's been a bill proposed about medical use, but it hasn't really garnered much support. And weed over here is illegal, and but it's an open secret. So as long as you probably don't flaunt it in front of the people's face, you're probably going to be okay. But it's a chance you're taking. There's a lot of tribal societies that still use marijuana over here, as they have been for hundreds of years. So, they haven't changed that, and I don't think the government forces are going to go up there and disrupt those people's traditions and stuff. Soldier for Good says, I'm 41, retired Army, I get $2,000 a month pension. Can I get the expanded courtesy even though I'm not 50 years old yet? I think you have to be 50. CJ says, I watched the documentary on Vice. The meth is a major problem among the locals. It is. But they're cracking down. Pumpkin Joe, are you going to that meet and greet on, let's see, when did that be? That's going to be Wednesday. I'm probably going to ride down there. He said, got on the internet last week to look at Tempo, and look at a local newspaper and expected on the front page there was about 4 shootings. Cal, back in the day when I was first visited Jamaica as a young seller, dealers would sell you drugs, then turn you into the cops. You get busted and cops will give the drug back to the dealer to start over. Well, it sounds like about what happened over here because you don't understand the language. You don't know what they're saying when you start walking back to your motorcycle or whatever it is. Hey, Mickey, 1863, thanks for that super chat. He said, long time subscriber. Keep teaching, my brother. Looks like Passport Bros is taking over the internet. I'm 7 years in and blessed beyond measure. Yeah, I think a guy said it right. It's subjective. It's really, it's nothing to argue about, certainly. And certainly not a put down. I don't think I'm disrespecting anybody by calling them a Passport Bro, but you never know. He says, I heard Kratom. What the hell is Kratom? Somebody tell me what that is, guys. I don't know what that is. Tiger G said, your channel is the best. Man, y'all make it the best, man. Thank you, really. Especially these live streams, man. I mean, I'm just really just reading and responding to all this good stuff on here. Funk and Joe, are you going to the meet and greet? I know you're a family man over here and you don't get out too much like that. But I think they probably enjoy seeing you over here. Oh, okay. It's to help you get off opiates. Well, probably not. If it gets you high, because if that's anything like methadone, because now you become addicted to the methadone, right? Is that what happened to my nephew? And pretty soon, he's standing in line to get his methadone 2 days before it's due. Or whatever. And then, okay, Suboxone? Is that the name of that drug that, okay, I met a lady in Eastern Kentucky. This was, let's see. I want to say 2012, late 2012, when I got back to America, early 2013. Okay, I met her. She lived in Eastern Kentucky. And man, she was making a killing selling Suboxones. And this is the drug that gets you off, that they subscribe to get you off of opiates. And she was selling them back to the people, making a killing. Yeah, he said you have to be at least 50 to get it. Yeah, I seen somewhere. Oh, okay. He said, just heard about it 3 minutes ago, trying to get an appointment with the U.S. Embassy to report my kid's birth right now. Yeah, now, you can go to Cebu, too. You can do that in the consulate. And also, they've got a roving, a lot of times these departments, they'll get out and come to the areas where a lot of foreigners live. I think the next one is coming up is in Iloilo, but you probably live closer to Cebu than Iloilo. But you could do it there too, at the consulate. I'm going to do boobies. Marilyn got mad at me because I asked her, I said, hey, what would happen, if we split up? Would you, and you sold this house, would you give me half? I'm just trying to get her response. She really got mad about that. She's gone, hasn't come back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's probably at the gym. That's what she is. But, I don't care about stuff like that, man. That's why you end up always have to go through something like that. And you're like, really? You need to grow up. And that's what I told her. It's like, really? A fresh law, I said, hey, brother, I believe we should be drug-free, disease-free, and drama-free. That's my goal, man. I'm almost there. I'm 2/3 of the way there. but I'm going through some drama right now. But see, people don't know me, man, and like that, see, I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. I'm not gonna put up with any drama at all. I would rather step to the side because I've already given up. If I was worried about this house and property and all of that, I never would have built it, certainly wouldn't have signed it all over to her. I'm not worried about that, man. My time and my health is more valuable than any money or any house or anything like that. See, peace of mind is what I want. I'm not going to put up with anybody's bullshit anymore. No matter where they are, no matter who they are, man. Life goes by too quick. And, y'all can bash me if you want. I'm sorry. He says, I can't donate. It says I need to be in the U.S. with U.S. dollars. Well, just switch over to the U.S. You're doing something wrong, Will. But while he's saying that, I wanted to say thank you to the new people who came on here. Your response to Stephen and Marjorie's GoFundMe is nothing short of amazing. That's all I can tell you, because it went way beyond anything I could have imagined. They had stopped getting donations 6 months ago. I didn't even know it, really. I knew none of this. I never knew that they had a well-designed GoFundMe page. I didn't. I just knew that. I said, man, this guy, what a hell of a story he's got to tell, if he ever wanted to tell it. Here's a guy who, he meets this Filipina. She's in Hong Kong. I guess he met over there as a U.S. contractor. No, Kuwait, I think. He was a U.S. contractor in Kuwait. They meet, and then he comes to the Philippines for 2 weeks without her to meet the family and everything like that. Then here she comes. They get married. 14 months later, they in America. And of course, they meet in the prime of each other's life. And you can look at their Facebook page and it'll show you, man, they were living a good life. They were big Charlotte Panthers fans, because he's from, not Charlotte, Carolina Panthers. He lives in Charlotte. And, they did everything together, man. She's a beautiful woman. And next thing you know, she has a devastating stroke. I mean, a devastating stroke. And this guy didn't leave her side, man. he didn't skip a beat. He kept on with his duties as a husband. And a lot of guys don't do that, man. We're so shallow, because when we care about the person, but we're going to be on the side doing something while she's in there recuperating. He didn't do that. He stayed by her side, man. And it resonated with a lot of people. And y'all gave from your hearts, man. It was triple what it was. When I turned it on there, it was something like $2,200, and I couldn't understand. I was like, wow, what's going on? But when I put his story out there, it's over 6,000 now. And I mean, it really brought me to tears, man. I was like, wow. So him and his wife, they want to come on here on my next live stream and just say thank you, man. He says his wife's speech is still not there 100%. I said, it don't matter, man. I mean, they're adamant. I said, y'all don't have to do it. He said, no, we want to do it. We want to come on there and we want to thank you. And thank your viewers and subscribers. I said, okay. Robert Dame said, Cal, do you think 5,500? Come on, man. That's enough to live in America. I think you know that yourself, Robert. 5,500 US dollars. Yeah, that's enough. He said, quit that baloney. You know damn well that's plenty. Yeah. He said, you'll live like a king. Link 1111 said, there's the one guy completely in love with G. I told him, be careful, it's an illusion, but he keep coming, spraying vector love at her. I'm like, when the bubble bursts, oh my. Oh, you mean Jim? Well, These women got us wrapped around their fingers, man. And I try to loosen the grip, but y'all ain't trying to. Y'all pull them even tighter. But yeah, we spoiled them, man. I mean, when you got the whole world telling you how beautiful you are, you start believing it, and we become our worst enemy. He says, I saw they will open 4 new bases. Now, is it actually 4 new bases? Excuse me. I'm allergic to something in here, man. Something makes me, it's like some dust or something. Okay. Kokauchi, excuse me. He said, when women start arguing about something, it's usually not that. It's usually something else. It's like she wants to leave you and is looking for an excuse. It could be it. Hold up, I gotta get some water. This coffee's not working. Okay, guys, sorry. Yeah, I had to give me some water. Yeah, a lot of times you're right about that. Let me get this glass real quick. I mean, as soon as I walk back in there. Yeah, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know what's in my throat. He said, do they have military bases in the Philippines and do they charge US dollars for stuff on base? I don't think they officially have any US bases. I think the US share bases over here. Robert said 5,500. Like, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to get off of here, man. I want to thank y'all for your super chats, your super stickers, your thumbs up, man. All your support for Sunshine Shoulders. Something is, the minute I walk in here, man, it's like dust is in my throat. And I can't talk, man. I don't want to do all that coughing, guys. Thank y'all, NTZ crew, for everybody. Thank y'all for supporting that Steven and Marjorie. They'll be on here Tuesday. Thank y'all for this last video I got. Guys, if anybody's listening to me right now and you can find out anything about Deshaun Dixon, please let us know, man. Somebody knows what's going on with him. Somebody knows him. You know, I just want to find out, does his family even know? Uh, it just, it was under the radar, man. Nobody brought that up, man. I was shocked when I discovered that video, the article, and then I put it out there. Now, of course, I know there's going to be other vloggers who are going to follow up on it, right? And hopefully they may be able to find somebody too. Yeah, Tom, sure you were. I'm not worried about that. Kokalchi says, was it a murder? I'm not sure. He said, be safe, Cal. He said, well, my monthly income, yeah. John Gomez, he says, do you think that's what happened? I pray not. Thanks, Cal. He said, have a great day, Cal. Take care, everybody. Yeah, get better, brother. I will, man. I don't know what's going on. Hey, open all your windows to air out your place, Cal. I'm going to do that, man. I'm going to do that because something's going on in here, man. I don't understand what's going on with me, but don't bring any drugs over here, guys. If you want to use drugs, man, use the legal drugs over here, alcohol, tobacco, because, the laws are going to be interpreted differently for us as foreigners, than it is for the locals. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time.